All right, so I want to get this out because I just saw this because I'm not on social media, but I guess you tweeted this out last night. It looks like 5 o'clock. You said, turned on the TV a while ago, and within 30 seconds, Van Pelt, or as he prefers, SVP, said, first 9, then second 9, then patrons. Thank God for the mute button. And then he responded, his was not very kind.
Who's this?
This is SVP. You want me to read it?
Oh, sure.
Okay, he says, someone asked him why all the hate, okay? He responded to someone responding to your tweet. He said, because he will be fake nice to me. That's what I can't stand. You can dislike me all you want. Don't pretend to be friendly. Be consistent. That's easy. I don't need that fat effing toad to be my friend, nor do I want him to be. Talking S on the effing internet, then smiling and making nice is clown behavior. What is going on? What is going on with you and SVP?
Time on this.
Huh?
I'll respond and let's move on because Van Pelt's not worth more than a minute.
Well, can I just ask you what's the history between you two? Why would he say that?
There is history between us, and I'll try to briefly go. It's not even worth going through in much detail.
Okay.
He literally came after me in the Augusta clubhouse, screaming and pointing his finger at me after Duke came from 22 down to beat Maryland in the Final Four in 2001.
Right.
Screaming that I should be ashamed of myself. How can you possibly accept a championship like that? And I said, Scott, one, I had nothing to do with the outcome of that game. Zero.
Right.
2, I didn't accept any trophy on Monday night. And 3, when you're up 22 and you lose by 11, you can't blame the officials. Okay? You just can't. I know Maryland fans like to do that, but you can't.
Okay.
We went and sat down, and there were a bunch of us at the table, including Jim Nance, and Van Pelt came up from behind me again and started yelling, what about the last foul on Baxter? That was a ridiculous call. At which point Nance turned around and said, hey, fella. Nance never gets mad at anybody. Hey, fella, I saw the replay of that call. Your guy Baxter hooked Boozer. It was a good call. Now can we please eat our lunch in peace?
Wow.
At which point, of course, Van Pelt retreated.
What a scene.
And then
and you've never talked about this.
Involves my brother. You know, my brother Bob or Bobby.
Bobby. Right.
Bobby is good friends with Gary Williams, as am I, as you guys know, and was sitting in Gary's seats for a Maryland Duke game. So was Van Pelt, and according to Bobby, I wasn't there. Van Pelt was screaming at the officials on every call, acting like a Maryland fan. And Bobby told me this story. It came up on the radio when I used to appear on WTEM, and Kevin Sheehan, who, as you know, is Van Pelt's minion, called in and said, I was there. There was nothing wrong with Scott's behavior.
I like all the guys. I like Scott. I like all the guys. Yeah.
Well, okay, fine.
All right.
And I said, well, I wasn't there. I'm just reporting what my brother said. And I don't think my brother's, crazy. Van Pelt then spoke at Burning Tree, where he's now a member, at their member guest, and said he wanted to make sure that my brother wasn't in the audience before he started talking because my brother would report back anything he said to me. My brother wasn't in the audience, but his best friend was, and they did report back to me on Van Pelt saying that, and I don't remember the exact sequence, but as far as all this crap about being fake friendly, I'm not friendly to Scott Van Pelt. I'm polite. I see Scott, I say hello, I shake his hand.
But is your beef, John, when you tweet that yesterday, is your beef with, obviously you don't like the Masters.
Okay, I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah.
Okay, my number one beef is with the Masters. I hate all this patron stuff and first 9, second 9, first cut. When I was working for Golf Channel, we would get an 8-page thing on the things we were supposed to say and not supposed to say. Like you never mention money. Nobody plays for money at the Masters. They're playing for a green jacket and for a lifetime exemption into the tournament. The funniest thing they mentioned, and I'll mention it now because I don't work for Golf Channel anymore, was never bring up the fact that Seve Ballesteros and Gary Player failed to return green jackets. Because the winner's supposed to bring it back the next year, and it's never supposed to go off campus except for the guy who won the tournament.
Oh.
Well, I never would have known that if they hadn't told me.
Right.
Right.
So and my politics, and their politics. So I'm not a huge, that's why I don't get dewy-eyed about the thing.
Right, but like in this particular incident, I mean, Scott's just following the rules. They're rights holders, whatever.
No, that's exactly right. That's why I said my number one beef is with the Masters. My number two beef is with ESPN. You guys know how I feel about ESPN. And I just told you about my relationship with Van Pelt.
So can I ask you this?
Now he's name calling.
Let me ask you this.
No, I didn't name call. I just said I didn't want to listen to him or anybody else saying. That's why I said mute button. Right. First line, second line, patrons, and it was just happened as I turned it on. He did all 3 in 30 seconds.
So maybe he took it the wrong way.
And let me say this: I was on Golf Channel for years at the Masters. I never used any of those terms.
Okay. So maybe
I never. And by the way, I didn't go out of my way to not. Well, I did go out of my way at times to not use them. I still remember there was a rain delay, and they were making everybody leave because it was lightning, and we were on the air. And Lerner's going on about, patrons this, patrons that. And I said, I really feel sorry for all these people, which is against the rules. But so, yes, you if you want to keep doing the Masters, you got to follow their rules. Ask Gary McCord, ask Jack Whitaker, probably ask me. But you don't have to overdo it. And they all overdo it.
All right, John, let me say this, John. Or I'm going to ask you this. So that story you told about SVP coming up to you when Nancy was there, you had never told that story before publicly?
Not as far as I know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I honestly, Jason, I honestly don't know. But I don't think I have.
I can't believe
I've never written it.
I can't believe he got so unhinged about a basketball game where he was basically
completely lost. And he is one of those guys, as is Sheehan, who thinks that Duke never won a game fairly. It's always been the refs.
Right.
In fact, a few years ago, I was driving somewhere, and this is when Sheehan was on with Chris
Cooley.
Cooley, thank you.
Yeah.
And it was the week going into. I was actually driving into the Big Ten tournament, I think, and Sheehan says to Cooley on the air, "Do you think Coach K would influence the committee to stay away from playing Maryland?" And he was serious. And Cooley said, "What? That's ridiculous. What are you talking about?" And that's the way some people think. It's the other day when Valdez said that Krzyzewski and Duke faked the COVID-19.
Right.
And by the way, I talked to Krzyzewski 10 days later. His players were just coming out of quarantine, just for the record.
Mm-hmm. Hey, all right, I want to talk about the tournament for a second and Rory. Enough of.
I just wanted to. I'm sorry. I just had to get it out there.
I love the backstory.
I don't mind.
Hey,
and I didn't realize he was now resorting to name calling. And by the way, I was never fake friendly to him. I was polite. I'm not friendly with him, and I've never tried to be friendly.
Now
with him.
you really dislike him.
When I see a person who I don't like or who I'm not friends with in a circumstance, I will be polite. I'm not going to walk up to the guy and say, "By the way, I hate you on television" or something like that. I don't do that.
Okay. All right.
I don't do that with a lot of people I hate on television much more than I hate Van Pelt because he's good on television.
Eric, I had to get it out there.
It's fine. It's just all right.
By the way, wait till I tell you a story off air.
Well, hold on, John.
Yep.
Right.
John, we have to run. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you
Scott
again
my
next
best.
week. Yeah, we'll
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm not worried about it. See you guys.
All right, Jason, we have to address the situation. I know you don't particularly want to talk about this because you don't want to get your friend in trouble or whatever. But it appears.
Hold on. Can we just wait until he responds to me?
Well, hold on. Maybe, but here's the thing. You may have revealed a private conversation that you interpreted as public. You did it inadvertently.
Correct.
Because you're clueless.
Because I didn't know anything. I don't know anything about Twitter.
Zipping.
Let me just say this. You might have just screwed Scott by revealing a private conversation he had with someone.
Well, what do you mean screw Scott?
And you didn't mean to.
Was ESPN going to fire him? Please.
No, of course not. But, if I call someone a fat effing toad on a private DM, I'm probably doing that because I don't want to put it out there on Twitter. And by the way, Scott's professional on Twitter. He's not going to put he's a fat effing toad on Twitter.
Right. I didn't know.
So you clearly violated. You didn't know, though, because you're a donk. So, and then John's now pissed because he thinks that Scott publicly called him an fat effing toad, but he didn't. You did. So
right, I made it public.
You revealed a private conversation because you're a donk and didn't realize it was private.
Donkey.
I didn't know. I had no clue. I don't know how to read Twitter. So it's out there now. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's out there, but I think you should say this in Scott's defense because we like Scott.
Yes, in Scott's
And
defense.
Scott used to come on the show all the time.
In Scott's defense, he did not put that out publicly. Yes. Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And we did a whole segment on a fake premise. So
I like how John said, this is not worth even a minute, but I'll talk about it. And
And
then
he
we
talked
talked
about it for 20.
8 minutes.
yeah.
Which I loved all the behind the scenes stuff about the
Yeah.
confrontation
Well-
at the Masters. I mean, that was great.
And see, the thing is, and that's why it never made sense to me, is there's nothing more cringe than two like blue check donks arguing with each other on Twitter. And believe me, I get into my fair share of spats with people, but I try to keep it somewhat limited before I eventually block or mute or just bail.
Right.
But it's never a great look if I just like if John and I had our beef that we've had sometimes behind the scenes, if I had it over Twitter, it's embarrassing, right? So you try to avoid that.
Right. But I thought it was over Twitter.
You thought it was, but it was him just divulging to his buddy what he truly thought, and now you just revealed to John what he truly thinks,
Correctamundo.
and to the world.
I kind of blame us too because we should have thought about it
Verified.
more deeply and said,
Yeah.
would Scott Van Pelt really have said this publicly?
Right.
I kind of tried. I said I don't see anything.
Yeah, you did
Right.
say that.
You did say that.
I know,
And we
I
should have
know.
also remembered that we're talking about Lurch here, who is clueless in all things tech
Yes.
That is very
Yep.
true.
and all things social media.
My buddy was laughing about it, though. He says, that was Scott's response to my thread, not the internet. LOL. He did say LOL.
I'm LOL
Sorry.
right now.
So I think in fairness, we should say sorry, Scott.
I just
that
did.
Was just yeah.
I just
that
did.
We botched that.
I like SVP, but I botched it on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great story, though. I'm sorry. It's just a great story.
It is a
because
great story.
we would have never known the story about him coming up to him at the, where was it? At the Final Four?
Wherever he was.
Wherever
Well, he
he
said it
was.
was at the Masters,
Oh, it
right?
was at the Masters,
It was
right.
at the Masters arguing about
imagine,
the
though?
Final Four.
I believe John. When John says that when he sees people that he doesn't like or he has a beef with, he doesn't attack them in public or whatever.
Sure.
Right.
But can you imagine how the minefield that must be the world with John, with all the people that he has beef with, or that
He's polite to a lot of people, from the sounds of it.
Yeah, right.
Oh no!
like
Now
that.
Feinstein's tweeting about it.
Oh,
Is
no.
he? Oh, you started.
Look what's
Jason.
happening.
I knew he was going to. I
You-
knew
oh,
it.
you
He
need
knew
to-
it.
all right.
I told him, don't worry about it. Now he's
Do
tweeting about
you
it.
still have Scott's information? You need to text him and tell him that you're a
I don't
donk.
have Scott's information anymore.
See
You
the
need to
trouble you've caused, Jason?
Have your boy give you his number, and just say, "Listen, dude, I made a mistake. I thought this was on public. I'm not even on social media. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry."
Tell him my bad. Oh boy, that's funny.
Social media really just has to go away. Can we just flush it down the toilet already? I like it for news. Beyond that, it's just a toilet. Oh man.
But join us on Facebook Live today for our Masters,
that's true.
Masters watch party, 1 p.m. Don't sleep on that.
I'm scared to look at what John just tweeted. I'm scared.
Oh no, because now it's going to get back to Van Pelt. He's going to be like, how did he find out about this?
Yeah, but I don't think Van Pelt probably doesn't care because
I'm sure he
clearly
doesn't.
dislikes John.
But you know that word is going to get back to him. It's
100%.
going to get back to him at some point.
It probably already. He's down in Augusta, right?
Yeah.
It's probably already gotten back to him.
Most
Like,
likely,
I
yes.
guarantee he's up.
Word travels fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason, you just botched this one.
Oh, it's
In
done.
a hilarious,
What's
innocent
done is
way.
done.
It's
What's,
just in a Lurch-like way.
what's done is done,
Cluelessness.
EB.
Somebody says, "Thank God for Bish's social media cluelessness."
Oh.
Oh my God, that is
Uh-huh.
hysterical.
And the worst part is he can't even go on Twitter and do damage control because he's
Lurch?
not on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who, me? Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I'll never.
you.
I'll
Now
never.
we're left cleaning up the mess.
I know.
I'll never
Jason
get on
be
Twitter.
gone, just watching golf or whatever, and Jason, Kicks and I will be apologizing to
Right.
people on Lurch's behalf.
You know
all
what
day
your
today.
penalty should be? You have to join Twitter just to go out and clear this mess up.
No. I am clearing it up right now. I'm saying it publicly. That's my tweet.
Do you have Sheehan's number?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tell Sheehan that you misinterpreted something because you're a donk, and Sheehan will tell Scott.
Well, Kevin is definitely up. He should just call in.
Kevin was getting collateral shrapnel from that conversation.
Wait a minute, Kevin's on.
So far
He's on the
reaching.
air.
But Kevin's on the
I
air.
think
He's doing
on the air.
morning.
So just text him
Right.
and just say it's a debacle and I'm a donk. I don't know.
I mean,
don't
John called him
understand
his
social media.
SVP's minion. I mean, that's not complimentary.
No.
Yeah, I mean, what's up with that?
That is hysterical. How do we always find ourselves in these
I don't
positions,
know.
Cakes?
I thought we were more
That's why
savvy.
we-
You know what? I thought we were more savvy. Apparently, we're not.
Hey, it's part of the 25 years, man.
Yes. It
Oh,
is.
no. Let me see. Okay.
Hey, get this ready for the 30th anniversary best of.
Yes. Yeah. Mark this tape, Cody. While you're in between placing bets, like during the breaks.
God.
Yeah. I like SVP a lot. I just haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah. Well, we used to have Scott on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was something that happened that was kind of silly, and then he stopped coming on for a while. But then we've had him on since. a few
What if
times.
John gets so bitter at what he said that next time they see each other publicly, John goes after SVP?
It's not going to happen.
It won't happen. Like I said,
not
he's
gonna
polite
happen.
to people that he doesn't get along with.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, but this might be a breaking point.
No. No. Oh, man.
Drabby?
There's no way Scott could get in trouble, right, from higher ups for DMing that to a friend when someone leaks a DM, right? I mean, or a text or something to a buddy.
No.
There's no way you
I
can get
don't
in
know.
trouble for that. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't
know.
want to check the hangout real quick.
I don't know. Paul Pierce got fired.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah, someone just called you the Paul Pierce of the Junkies.
Oh.
Well, Paul Pierce had like a naked chick on,
Kevin,
right? or something?
he had a woman twerking. He was smoking weed. The problem is Jason hasn't made $200 million that he can fall back on. Last time I checked.
Unfortunately.
I mean, is Paul Pierce a moron? Like when you work for a major company,
Right.
you can't, put on social media you smoking weed and tagging hookers or
Oh, I
whatever. you're
know,
doing.
but he's under the influence. He's not thinking straight.
Right.
Right, he's
I've-
got an open-ended straight draw. There's a woman twerking behind him. There's another woman giving him a back massage, and he's smoking a joint. I mean, how can he be paying attention to any one thing? There's so much
You know what?
stimulus going on.
I'll just tell SVP I was under the influence this morning, so I wasn't thinking straight.
Right.
So that's why.
You had the Tiger Viagra, the painkiller
Yes.
combo going.
Yeah, it was all. Oh, we didn't get a chance to ask John about that. What's Drabby doing? I see Drabby walking around.
He's probably putting out a fire that you started.
He's over at Team 980. We're trying to work on some things here.
Oh, is
What
he
are you trying to
bring
work
Kevin over
on?
during a
Well,
break or
did
something?
you check the hangout or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw.
yeah,
He's
so
definitely-
I don't know what they're doing. They're doing some behind the scenes.
Okay. Behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Drab is explaining what happened there, that it was all innocent.
Right.
That Jason thought he was talking about a public conversation.
Right.
God. It's always something, man.
Look,
with
I
us.
can only shrug my shoulders, throw my hands up.
Cakes, we can't
the
avoid
next
it.
time Jason comes up with some sort of story, like an exclusive, it's going to be more properly vetted.
Right.
Even before he's done telling it, I'm gonna tell everybody to pump the brakes. We're gonna send our investigative team in just to make sure everything's legit.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, innocent mistake though, no doubt.
I understand.
Apparently, according to one of the most miserable people on the planet, certainly in sports media in this town, I'm a minion of yours. That's what Junior apparently just referred to me. People are texting me that Junior referred to Sheehan as Van Pelt's minion. Please, whatever I can get you, whatever it is you require, I'm at your service here. The most self-absorbed person in
Don't
sports
do it.
media
Don't
I've
do it.
ever
Don't
had
do it.
direct experience with.
Don't do it.
What?
There's don't do it. There's nothing. There's nothing.
But he's
to
an
say here.
insecure, backstabbing SOB. That's what he is,
Well,
And then it's funny because when you have conversations with him, he's so cordial, and there's this tone like, "No, that's not what I really meant."
And that's
just
fine.
a total
I have
phony.
I have joked with my friends about how I say I joked with him that when I see him, I'm going to physically confront him, meaning I want to get in his face and hoot and holler. It's all jokes about that, because anytime I've ever seen him, he's always been kind. I don't understand why he speaks about me the way he speaks about me. I have no idea why he would be. That's what he would choose to say. But anytime I've ever seen him, he's always been nothing but kind to me. So I'll just
he's the biggest P in person. So if you're right, we'd be walking together by him, and he'd act like he was our best friend.
There's no need for any of this.
He's such a total whatever.
Yeah.
So real quickly on Scott Van Turgeon and Kevin Turgeon, the big apologists for the head coach at the University of Maryland, we're both thrilled that he got the extension.
Joining us right now is Kevin Sheehan from our sister station, Team 980. By the way, in case you missed our show earlier, download the Odyssey app, use the rewind feature, and you can hear the entire John Feinstein Scott Van Pelt flap in its entirety. So please go do that. What's up, Kevin? Thanks for joining us. You got roped into this unknowingly. How are you?
Sorry, we didn't know what we were doing.
Well, first of all, it's such an honor, to be the first person in ESPN 980, Team 980, Sports Talk 980, Sports Chat 980, whatever we've been called over the years, to come on with you guys.
That's
and
right.
we can do that now that we are sister companies.
That's right.
Absolutely. No, it's our pleasure.
It's great.
Yeah. But secondly, Jason, more importantly, I've got Adam Scott plus 115 against Bryson today. I had him plus 150 yesterday, so I took him again against Bryson. Who do you have?
I've got a litany of guys.
Do we have an extra segment
Yeah,
to go
you
through all the
need
bets?
15 minutes. I probably put in 15 different matchups, so I'll text you off air who I have. But that's a good play. That's a good play because Bryson was all over the yard yesterday, and he probably will be today too.
Yeah, I'm fading him. I had Sergio there yesterday multiple ways. That didn't quite work out. So how was John this morning? I heard he was really fired up.
Well,
Look,
again, I don't know how much of this.
I didn't hear it, obviously, but Jason, you texted me, and I've heard from 50 different people over the last 20 minutes. So go ahead.
Well, explain how it happened, Jason.
Well,
because explain your cluelessness.
Okay, well, so I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on any social media. So when my buddy forwarded me a screenshot of the tweet that John sent out, and then the response from Scott, I thought it was all on the same Twitter page. You know what I mean? And it wasn't. I mean, John's tweet was obviously public, but Scott's response was just an individual response to
like a DM,
a DM to our buddy, and I thought it was just a tweet that he sent out. So I went with it, and now it's just causing firestorms everywhere, left and right. And I just wanted you, because I know you and SVP are tight. I just wanted you to tell SVP if it ever gets back to him, my bad.
Well, I'm not really tight. I'm just his minion, just one of his minions. But that friend that sent that to you, DC should not have done that, and I think he knows better now about sending it to you. Look, it's just one of those things that's always been weird. Scott and I've told John this before, like, we've always been fans. Like, I've read most of his books. I used to love it when John would come on my radio show before he did the deal with you guys several years ago. And, like, it used to be a thrill when John would, like, call during a break and say, put me on, Sheehan's wrong about something. And that was, like, a real thrill. Like, being, having the opportunity, obviously, to work with Tony so closely for years and know Wilbon really well. All of that's always been so thrilling. But, it's weird because to your face, John will make you believe that he really likes you and maybe, and this is probably a stretch, respects you a little bit. But then on Twitter or, on a radio show, it's just always been one pot shot after another. I mean, John sent me lecturing emails over the years about things that he was just flat out wrong about. But, you know, I mean, he's always right, and if you're not sure, just ask him. But he's always been the guy, like the guy on Twitter that trolls you and rips you, that if you were to run into him at the Starboard, he'd tell you how great you are, you know, and he'd want to take a picture with you. But you never run into that guy. Yeah. But you do run into John, or you do get a chance to talk to John, and you're always like, I don't get it. Like Scott, you know, Scott says to me all the time, I just ran into John at Augusta and couldn't have been nicer. And he's like, but, you know, he'll probably rip me about something on Twitter here in the next week or something. So it's unfortunate. Personally, I think if those guys just sat down, you know, one day, you know, at Congressional or whatever and had lunch, it'd be a bunch of yucks and laughs and they'd figure it out.
Yeah, who knows? But I've told John, Kevin, I've told this John to John plenty of times. I said, look, just don't take shots on Twitter because it can only cause problems. It's happened with him and Bickle, and we interview him every single Friday. And, you know, I kind of get in the middle of it, and I just say, dude, especially politics, don't talk politics on the show, on Twitter. Don't do it.
I think, honestly,
it's not even
that's the
worth
root
it.
of a lot of John's angst is he is so – look, we all have our own political – and it's never been this polarizing, and it's sad, right? And I'm part of it. I have my own polarizing views. But I think part of John, if I was to do psychoanalysis of him, and I'm like Kevin and Scott, I grew up reading all of his works. I grew up idolizing the guy, right? And so when I get in a fight with him, it really is distressing.
Right.
You know, at this point in my life, I'll fight anybody. You want to fight? We'll fight. Let's go. But I think that a lot of the angst comes from, if I had, in my opinion, and John would argue with it, I'm sure, but I think a lot of it stems from his political viewpoint, and he will point to friends he has on tour that are Republican and that he's fine with. But I truly think his political belief system is what governs a lot of where he decides sometimes to get angry. That's just my personal belief. It's my opinion.
But Kevin, Kevin, I'm just going to say this. Nothing good can come from some of those tweets. So what he said about SVP, or maybe he was just pissed at ESPN or at the Masters for making people say, you know, patrons instead of
why
fans.
Why throw Scott in there?
Oh, yeah. I know. Well, it's just look, when he does it in that way. Well, look, the great thing about John is he's direct. I mean, you know how he feels.
Right, certainly.
And so that tweet was obviously, and, you know, it was one of those things I was thinking about it this morning. Am I going to do something on this? Well, I know that Scott wouldn't want me to do something on it because Scott is very much like, I don't get it. You know, he rips me, and yet when we're together, he's cordial. Look, last summer, he came after me on Twitter, you know, basically comparing me to Larry Michael as the biggest, you know, Washington football sycophant in town. And so, of course, I said, John, will you come on the show tomorrow? No, I can't. I've got this thing with the Junkies. Will you come on my podcast? No, I can't do that. But, John, I'm going to call you. When are you available? So we end up having, you know, like I'm sure you guys have had, one of those hour-long cordial conversations, so nice. And he's like, okay, I probably read the situation wrong. And then he always brings up this Duke, Maryland thing with Van Pelt and me.
Right.
And he's got this crazy story about how Van Pelt was berating referees at a Duke, Maryland game, which I, by the way, happened to have been at. And he wasn't there, but his brother told him the story, John's brother. Right. And I've told John for years, it's not true. Like, Scott is one of those people that doesn't really he's a nervous fan. Like, he doesn't yell, he doesn't scream. He just sits there and is all like bundled up, you know, nervous wreck. He's the opposite of what your brother described. So your brother either had us confused with somebody else, or he's just not. He's exaggerating, or he's not telling the truth. Are you calling my brother a liar?
Right,
I go, look, I don't know what I'm calling your brother. I'm just telling you, take my word for it, it never happened. But there's been a lot of that Duke, Maryland stuff over the years as well. But, I mean, I think, honestly, if the two of them sat down, they'd figure it out. And I just get frustrated because when I have conversations with John, they're always so nice. And like you guys, like I walk away, I'm like, God, I was always a big fan. I hope everything's cool. And then, you know, he rips me somehow, or, you know, obviously through Van Pelt.
Yeah.
Kev, forgive us. We're up against a hard
You
break.
gotta
You know
run.
how that works.
Yeah.
We got to run. That's
All right,
Kevin
man.
Thank
Sheehan
you. We'll
from
do it
the-
again more.
Let's do it
Thank you,
again.
buddy.
Thanks for
Yep.
calling in,
Okay,
man.
bud.
Take care.